going on, guys? It's Nick with the Hungry Handgunner. So today I've got my top 5 reasons that you should consider carrying a handgun, and then I've got top 5 reasons why you should not start carrying a handgun. So to dive right in, I've made myself a little handy list to try to stay organized here. Number 1 reason you should carry a handgun is violent crime, violent criminals. They're out there, and they're bad people. They're willing to kill, rape, maim. A lot of times to get your stuff, sometimes for no other reason than they're just messed up in the head. But in 2017, there was an estimated 1,247,321 violent crimes committed nationwide. Now that was a 0.2% decrease from 2016, and overall we are seeing a decrease in violent crime statistics through the years. So please don't get scared and run out there and buy a gun. Just recognize that there is that segment of society that does exist, and unfortunately, there's really nothing, there's no magic pill that we can give these people to make them stop hurting other people. They are there, and they do tend to prey on, a lot of times, people that either are old or small or frail, or people that give the impression of being small, old, or frail. So, somebody like me is 6'1", 250 pounds. I'm not super likely to become a victim of violent crime by virtue of my size alone. And probably even more than that, I kind of, I'm not a badass or anything like that, but, I do pay attention to what's going on. So, a lot of that just goes into your demeanor. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is, number 2 is the police response time. An average nationwide police response time is something like 12 minutes. That's a long time, guys. It may not seem like it, but it is. That is a very, very long time, especially in a violent attack. 12 minutes, they're getting there in time to draw chalk around your body and fill out paperwork. So, it's already unlikely that you're going to be the victim of violent crime. But if you are the victim of violent crime, it's very unlikely that the police are going to get there in time to do anything to help you. They're probably not even going to catch the right person afterwards. So, arrest and conviction rate for violent offenders is very low. So yeah, you can't carry a cop with you, and unless you're one of those lucky few people that can afford a private security team to go with you all the time, you kind of have to take things into your own hands. So number 3 is going to be, there was a Supreme Court case not too long ago. The police have no duty to protect you. I know that we used to see serve and protect on the cars. Supreme Court ruled they don't have that duty. They have a duty to enforce laws. They do not have any responsibility to defend you and protect you in case that is in the course of, or except for if that's in the case of enforcing laws. This isn't an anti-cop thing by any means. I'm just saying, don't think that they're your bodyguards. They're really not. And that's really, just kind of the state of affairs we're at right now is, there are these people in society, and police can't always be there to protect you, so you're going to have to take that upon yourself. Number 4 is nobody can protect you better than you can. You know your habits, you know where you go, what you do, the likelihood of where you're at, so where you're at in relation to how things might occur. So nobody's going to be able to protect you better than you can. Now, obviously right out of the box, if you've never shot a gun before, you're not quite ready. You need to go get some training, get some range time in, get some practice, get proficient with that gun, and learn some proper techniques, and most of all, safety. But once you acquire those skills, nobody's going to be able to defend you better than you are. And if you've got kids, I promise you, nobody on the face of this earth has more interest in protecting those kids than you do. So, of all the violent crime and crimes against persons statistics, the most repulsive to me personally as a father is the crimes against children. Guys, stay vigilant. Strapping a gun on isn't the be-all, end-all, but you need to really pay attention to what's going on, especially with your kids. These people are sneaky, they're devious, and they're just evil people. So just watch what's going on with your kids. Number 5 on my list of reasons to carry a gun. It's your right. As an American citizen in most of the states, now I live in Georgia, so I'm pretty lucky here. There is some way to carry a firearm for self-defense. Now, obviously, super restrictive states like California and New York. I'm sorry, guys, I don't know enough about what you go through out there to really speak to that. But, we do have this right that most other places do not have, and that is really awesome, especially when you consider the things I outlined above. or outlined before, you can take responsibility for your own safety and be prepared to defend yourself if necessary. Now, let's talk about some reasons you should not go out and buy a gun and carry a gun for self-defense. If you think that carrying a gun is magically going to boost your ego and you want to feel tough and everything else, and that's why you're going to carry a gun, that ain't it. That's not a good reason at all. I see a lot of people that do that, and they may not be honest enough to admit that, but it's very obvious that that's what they're doing. The gun is not magically going to increase your virility, guys, or for women, this isn't an alarm panic button. This is a very real piece of hardware that can hurt or kill you if you don't know what you're doing with it. So just buying a gun to feel tough, bad idea. Number two, if you're going to buy a gun to conduct what I call nefarious business, or you think that, hey, I'm going to sell meth on the corner, I need a gun to protect myself, that's a bad idea, guys. That's not how the Second Amendment works. Probably going to lose your gun rights for that one. But just saying. Number three, my bad. Make stupid decisions. So if you're like, hey, I've got a gun now, so I can go down to Little Five Points in Atlanta at 3 a.m. and, just walk around by myself in some really, really dark alleys. That's not a good idea either. You need to be cognizant of the environment that you're placing yourself in or placing your family in. You're going to win 100% of the fights you don't get in. So if you take unnecessary risks, just because you have a gun doesn't magically mean you're going to go home. You may very well still die. You may very well end up in a world of hurt in a criminal or civil suit after using that lethal force. You need to make good decisions. Remember, you are going to win every fight that you don't get in. So who you associate with, where you go, what time of day you go places, all that is going to factor into that. Number four, this is probably one of the ones I see a lot. The media reports on sensational news. So if there's a shooting, a stabbing, a home invasion, a rape, a child abduction, that pulls at our emotions as human beings. So they report on that. So if you just watch the news, it's going to seem like there's a lot more bad things and bad people in the world than there actually are. Which I know might sound a little weird coming from a guy like me that advocates carrying a gun all the time to protect yourself. But, not everybody out there is going to be trying to hurt you or, do bad things to you or your family. Most people are good. Now, the problem is that the ones that aren't good don't wear a magic sign that says, hey, I'm a piece of shit. So, you just don't know until that time arises. So don't run out here and buy a gun and start carrying a gun out of fear. Fear paralyzes you. Fear is not a good reason to do anything short of maybe running away from something. But fear is going to cloud your good judgment. So what I tell people to do is just kind of approach things with an open mind. Realize that, hey, there is this segment of society that is no good. No, they're not everywhere, but they are out there, and you just kind of take steps to protect yourself, and you go from there. Number 5, last reason to not buy a gun, or to not carry a handgun. Don't do it because I told you to. Seriously. Or me, or anybody else. Don't carry a gun because somebody told you to. I want you to arrive at that decision on your own. If you weigh all the factors and things that I've presented on my channel throughout the course of several videos, or other guys out there have presented, and you say, you know what, that makes sense. That makes sense for me in my situation in life. I think that I'm going to take the steps to get trained up and get a gun and carry it for self-defense. Great. That's awesome. You arrived at that conclusion. Everything that we say and do as individuals is based on our life experiences, and those can vary drastically from person to person, obviously. So the things that led me to decide that I should probably carry a gun on a daily basis may not apply to you, and vice versa. Like the example earlier, if you have a private security team with you 24/7, you may not need one. I mean, I don't know. I probably still would, but that's just me, because like I said, nobody has more vested interest in protecting you than you. But where I'm going with that is, I want you to do some soul searching. Just don't take everybody's opinion as gospel, even mine. I'm just a guy that shoots a lot, so I was fortunate to get some good training, and this is my hobby. This is what I enjoy doing, and I try to help other people with that. But I'm just a normal guy. So don't take anything I say as gospel. Go out there and do your own research, come to your own conclusions on that. At the end of the day, as much as I'd like to tell you that everybody should carry a gun, sadly, that's just not the world we live in. Guns, that's M&P Shield out here. They are tools, but they are tools that can kill you or kill other people. And, you have to be honest with yourself about if you're ready to assume that responsibility or not. There is a lot of responsibility that goes into carrying a gun, into knowing your local laws, into knowing, your laws about where you can carry the gun, when you can use the gun, what constitutes using the gun. In some places, even pulling your shirt up to show that you have a gun, that's considered brandishing in a lot of places. So you have to know your laws, and you have to be smart about how you respond to threats and everything else. And at the end of the day, if I can leave you with just one piece of advice, you will not lose a fight that you don't get in. So be smart about where you go, who you associate with, how much information you share on social media that might make you a target. The world's a pretty good place. It's full of pretty good people. Unfortunately, it's also got some shitheads in it. And that's pretty much where we're at, guys. So I wanted to do a top 5 video for a while. That's what we're going to start with. I might do a top 5 handguns or top 5 bug out guns or something later on. I might even do my top 5 YouTube channel shout out. So talk about favorite channels to watch. Anyways, guys, there's going to be a bubble coming up on the lower right hand side of your screen. That is a subscribe button. I'm still a very, very small channel, so every single subscriber helps me out so much, more than you recognize, and I appreciate it more than you know. Also, if there's something you think you want to see, if you drop a comment and let me know, I will do my best to make it happen. I am just an average blue-collar guy, so I work just as hard for my money as you guys do yours. So, I can't run out and buy guns left and right to review, but if I can make it happen, I will. And last but not least, guys, thank you so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me. There's going to be more content coming up. Keep it fairly consistently, especially as this nice weather rolls in. So, as always, stay safe, keep shooting. I'll see you next time.